Hey, good morning, everybody. SurgeTrader Live for July 7th, 2023. We have a very special guest today, Rayvon Simpson from Ray Bans. Good morning, Ray. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Real good, real good. I know you and I have been chatting for a while now. We've been trying to get you on the show, and our schedules finally linked up. Thanks so much for coming on. We're excited to have you. We've had a lot of Surge traders who follow your program, and we've had a lot of requests to bring you on. So thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, man. This is probably, if not the top program, the only program that I've, found that's easy to trust. So I'm just excited to add value to anybody who's out there kind of like on the fence.
Awesome, awesome. Great to have your accolades towards the program. So, Ray, tell us a little bit about your history. Where are you from? Where are you calling out of today?
Houston, Texas, man. H-Town,
Okay,
hold it down. Yeah.
sure, got it, got it. You guys must be hot there too. We're in South Florida,
Man,
West
don't
Florida.
don't remind me. If you think about heat, it gets hotter, man. You just kind of
I
got to stay
know.
in the air conditioning.
I was just telling somebody it was said 91 yesterday or 94, but the heat index was 108. So it
Wait,
was
wait.
it
You
was
guys had 90s?
oh yeah.
We
You're
don't
over
get
100 every day?
that. We don't get that. A
Wow.
hundred, like 98, is go outside and play day. It's
Wow,
insane.
that's wild. That's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah. Well, it's been a brutal summer. So thanks for taking the time sitting indoors with us.
hmm
Houston, how long have you been trading for?
I'm coming up on my fourth year. I'm on. I don't like to say half years, but I'm 3 years and 6 months in so far.
Got it. So that's glass half full. So
Glass half full.
years before trading.
I was a tax guy. It's a pretty simple story for me. I was a server. I could have went and got some high classy job, but I just believe in controlling mind share. And I didn't want a job that followed me home, so I picked being a server because I knew I can charm people and I care about food. I like food, so easy decision. Did that, saved my money, started a tax business, built that to a point to where I was able to get ahead of my bills, and then had a friend just randomly tell me, "Hey, you should trade," and it just took off from there.
Tell me that story. It's there's many. They know somebody who traded. Give me your story from a 9 to 5 business, or it sounds like you're an entrepreneur. To being here.
Yeah, actually, I think that's a big reason why I succeeded so fast is because I was going down that path of entrepreneurship and I just understood. At first, I didn't understand, but the mentors who were helping me in other businesses taught me, valuable things like a budget. I can go down a list of things that people would like they could do to give themselves a good chance at like succeeding in trading because it's not as hard as people think, but that is a big thing, the budget. But the transition was actually pretty unique. You have a lot of companies. I'm not going to name drop because I
Hmm.
understand that some people think differently about network marketing and stuff like that. But you have a lot of companies that offer value and say, "Hey, we'll teach you how to trade." And my friend was a part of one of those companies. He introduced me to it. I'm not opposed to network marketing. I thought, or I think network marketing is a great industry to go into to rub shoulders with other business owners. It's just up to the merit of the person on what they consume from that.
Right.
So I joined this company, quickly realized that the information was golden, but the leadership was bad. And I only knew that because I had involvement in other network marketing companies who had really good information. So, our leadership. So, I joined this company and, I was in taxes at the time and I was making good money. I had about $45,000 saved and my bills were already paid for the year. I was
So
living way
nice
below my
cushion.
means. Big cushion. I believe in cushion. I think that when people have cushion, they really get a chance to explore who they are and they get a chance to let those opportunities that need to incubate for a little bit. They have time to go out there and make bigger plays and bigger moves because they have their budget together. Learn that
Yeah,
from
it's
mentors.
nothing
Yeah.
at your heels. You don't have to
Yeah,
worry
you
about a
don't have to
bill.
go out there and be the weird guy that's trying to get a sale. You can actually care
Right.
about what you're doing. Yeah.
Right.
So
Exactly. Exactly.
that's how I
You
made the
know,
transition.
um, marketing on the forex side. That
hmm
can't tell you how many people it's opened the door for to this avenue as a career. So even though it might not have been where they stayed long term,
hmm
get the game, and then then they look for something better, look for something bigger. A lot of people have heard of
Yeah.
like you for the real leadership. So they've done a good job of building a foundation for people to bring them into the trading game, which is nice.
Yeah, facts. I think that for people who don't understand anything, it's like brand new, they just want to see if they can make some extra money. Those companies are reliable places to go to get information. It's just doing your research and trusting the people that's introducing you to the program. And if you feel like you can learn something
Right.
there, do it. That's what I did.
Good step. So you went from there. You found the information. You kind of got a taste for it. You said, this is something that puts. Where'd you go? Did you look your own mentorship? How did you right out of network marketing forex into not
Yeah.
not profitable when you first started out?
This is going to be pretty unique, but I've actually never been never not been profitable.
That's
My
beautiful.
first
That's a
trade
beautiful
that
thing.
I've ever
Awesome.
it is beautiful. Now I have had some big losses, and I'll explain those things because
Sure.
my leadership is transparent. But my first trade I put in is when Tesla was doing a split, and some brokers offer where you can actually trade certain stocks, and I picked the buy. I didn't know what I was doing. I picked the buy, and I made $1,000. If I would have held that trade for a couple of hours, I'd have made like 10,000. But I didn't know. I saw a blue screen. I saw $1,000, and I was like, "This is extra money." Boom, and I'm sending
Yeah.
everybody, "I'm the GOAT." I just started. But in a 3 month in a 3 month period, I went up like 25K. I was on fire, and being in a company like that where a lot of people are really not doing well. Now you have the eyes of people who have businesses that they're trying to run, and they have people that want to make money. So they're like, wait a minute, what is this guy doing? And I didn't know at the time. I'm thinking, oh, everybody's doing this. 25K in 3 months is slow. And for me, what made me transition out of it though was the fairness, because I'm loyal. If they would have treated me right, I would still be there, building and changing the narrative of that company. But because it wasn't fair, because people just, they put too much personal stuff into business, and it just kind of drove me away. And I felt like, you know what, I can do this better. Hopefully I don't seem like the type of person that's like petty, but I take things personal. So if somebody treats me wrong, and I know that I like to treat people right, it's like, I'm not going to disrespect you, but I'm going to take it personal, and I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do it better than you now, because you shouldn't have did me that way. And I don't want anybody else to experience this type of leadership or abuse. Right. So
Sure.
I started my first little course and did well selling the course, which gave me more cushion. And that's when I started to experience, oh, wait a minute, those scanners that those companies offer are important, but can I understand what that scanner is doing versus just looking at it and like trusting it too much, So, and that's where my journey started.
That's a great point. So learning the mechanics behind it so you could duplicate it as opposed to just giving you the answer. Is that
Exactly. Learning.
kind of dig into it?
I remember maybe 6 months straight waking up at 9 a.m., having a coffee. I have a cup. I can't tell you what's on the cup, but it said, well, yes, I can. It says F work. I hate going to work. Like, I think everybody hates going to work. Have you ever looked at the faces of people who are driving to work, and they just all just kind of like, and it's not to talk about anybody. It's just I use that as motivation.
Yeah,
So I
no,
used to
of
have
course,
my little
of
cup.
course.
I would look at it. Yeah, I would look at my cup, and I'd be like, all right, cool, let's get it today. And I would do 12-hour days, and it wasn't forced. I would just get on these charts, and I was so mesmerized by the compounding. I was like nobody
wonder
can
of the
make
world.
money like this. I don't care how rich you are. Yo, it is insane how you can just use leverage and understand that risk management and just take your time. And over a 5-year period, 10-year period, it can be insane results, but it's hard to see in those first few years. But because I had some success already, I knew I had like, okay, I have time, and I understand that this can be bigger, because if I'm doing this now, just imagine if I had a $50 million account, this would be insane. And people do that. Big companies hedge like that. So I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
I can
absolutely.
do this. But the transition was rough. I'm not going to lie to you. When you are in an industry where a lot of people pretend, and you're in an industry where a lot of people say that they have the best way, how do you stick out? And that's a big question for me that I had to answer. How would I stick out? If trading is like drawing. You can see whatever, you can draw whatever, and you can do it in any style, in any breakdown or system that you want. It's just what will it produce off of the system that you understand. So for me, it was just finding ways where I can be transparent and finding ways where I could understand what I was looking at. And a big part of that was time and momentum. I realized that time is very important and time will help you see momentum. So I had to find things that would help me see that and then just study, just relentless. And it's not studying to where it's like, oh, I'm a back test and then go over leverage an account. Study, exercise the risk management, and then from the losses, which is a trading journal, you will go through and see, hey, every time I see this, I lose. What if I stop doing that and I do this? And then you go through a couple of weeks of doing that, a couple of months of doing that, until you refine it enough to where it is confidence when you are on the chart and you do understand what the charts are telling you before you even rely on any indicator. So outside of your candlesticks.
Awesome. Of
Yeah.
course. So initially you but it's not to give people the wrong information. I mean, you put in the time, put in hours at those charts, learning it.
In a 6 months period, I was doing 12-hour days, 7 days a week, relentless. You know, people, hey, go out, do this. Let me tell you how serious it was for me. I was this is so bad, but I just want somebody who's listening to understand that you have to be this relentless sometimes. I was 220 when I started, and I was 235 after 6 months. I didn't move a lot. I wasn't eating a lot, but I wasn't moving a lot. So I just kind of was gradually gaining weight. And I was like, okay, all right, I done made some money. Let me start going back to the gym so I don't just blow up like a whole balloon. But I had friends who were like, yo, like you're still in front of the computer. I'm like, y'all don't understand. When I don't understand something and I want to, I can't leave. It's an obsession for me in anything that I do. So, I think that was an unfair advantage because if I had to give up 8 hours a day, I feel like I would get home and I would want to take a break
Right.
and I would want to be with my family and do things like that. So, you know, my leadership program is a little different just because I understand that too, you know, and knowing that I had an unfair advantage, which a lot of
obsessive nature. Do you think that's a benefit in trading? And actually
yes,
be successful in trading?
they can be successful, but it's going to take a long time. It's like, how bad do you want it? And if you really think about
Right.
the things that you like, you're obsessed with it. We like to eat, right? That you can consider
Sure.
that an obsession. It's like, you know, it's in your food. Some people don't like their food to touch. Some people do. Like, you have things and you like them a certain way because you've experienced them and you care about it. So if you feel like this is something that can help you get ahead, if it can help you expedite, if it can help you catch up, if you feel like this is the play for you, you have to commit. You can't look at it the way you would look at a job. And that's anything that you control yourself. It doesn't have to be in the realm of entrepreneurship. If you want to do something, you have to be obsessed with it. You have to know exactly what you're doing. And the only way you're going to know that is if you fail a little bit. So, and I knew that. I was just trying to speed up the process.
Sure.
Yeah.
Insights, very good insights. The obsession aspect of it is, you know, I talked to a lot of educators and we've never quite. I wonder how if there's a way, you know, we could develop some, you know, healthy obsessive traits to help people get over the hump because it's difficult. You know that.
Oh,
you know, you
sure.
sit in front of the charts, you get a lot of downtime.
Yeah,
People quit, people give up.
It is difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would
Okay,
say
so
this. It's all about your team. It's the team that you put together. Yeah.
tell me a little bit about your team. You have, of course, but what do you have on, you know, your training community in front of you that you're teaching? What do you have behind down?
So actually, the pressure of making sure I make good information is what holds me down. How can I tell my
accountability.
community to practice? Yeah, how can I tell my community to practice risk management and I don't? How can, and you know, this is transparency. I built my trading budget to over 200K. You know, when I would experience these big losses, my biggest loss today is 17K, and that was because I made a mistake and I was moving too fast. And you know, a lot of people in my community really came for me. You know, like some of them kind of treated me bad a little bit, but you know, that's
really?
power for me. Oh yeah, you'll be surprised when people are. Yeah, it wasn't. Yes, I neglected some rules. I was telling them before I did it. I said, hey guys, look, I'm gonna put this big trade in. I'm going for it. I'm doing this and stuff. And the trade, like, I would have won the trade because it was a great trade, but I put the wrong time expiration, and I just watched 17K melt
Ah,
off my account. It was a bad day. I actually have it on YouTube. I'm in the bed laying with a do rag on, and I'm just sitting there like almost in tears. I'm like, yo, this is bad. People don't
it
like
was
me,
just,
but it was
yeah,
a tough break. But in reality though, that did nothing to my budget. But the cool thing is I came back a week later and in a 10-day period made $90,000. It was like the revenge. It was so beautiful. But the lesson learned right there was, hey Ray, you got some people that are looking at you and they'll see you make this 90,000 or they'll see you lose that
nice, nice.
17,000 on both ends and have misskewed information. People, $90,000 in 10 days. I could quit my job in 3 months. No, that's not gonna work. Oh, you lose $17,000 in one day. Oh, this is not for me. And I didn't want to be on any extreme. I just wanted to be in the middle. How can I teach this in a way to let
Right.
people know this can help you now? You don't have to get rich. It took you 18 years, 25 years, 30 years to get into these financial positions that you're in. What can I do to help you bring in an extra 10% every month for your trading income? And that's when I started to look up
Right,
prop
exactly,
firms, and that's how
exactly.
I found SurgeTrader, and it changed the game big time. So
Awesome, awesome. So prior to using prop firms, you were teaching people, and of course, we know some of the pitfalls of trade over leverage, using a lot of easy to get wiped out. How changed your teaching or your attitude towards being your own capital?
well, we were already using this approach. It was just having access to more funds that made it crystal clear. My thing is 1%.
Got it. More
If you're going
horsepower.
to enter a trade,
Okay, 1%.
yeah, if you're going to enter a trade, we don't want to risk more than 1%. And of course, if it's a trade that you feel like you're coming out of a break or whatever you're looking at, break that down into 3 entries and just adjust your risk management to that point, to where if you lose all 3 of those trades, you only lose 1% of your account, and stick
Got
to
it.
that. Take the long haul game. Right? If you want to increase the speed at which you want to make your money, you need to increase the leverage. And what I was running into is people were taking $1,000 and trying to make 100,000. And my
Of course.
mentality is, hey, flip it. Take 100,000 just to make 1,000. It's going to be much easier on your mental because people
Right,
and money are
right, right,
predictable.
right.
If you were,
Absolutely.
look, Corey, you're a cool guy. I'm pretty sure I would love to, go out to eat and just laugh with you. But if you were walking and I didn't know you and you dropped $100, you're not getting your $100 back. Like, you see how predictable that is? It's like, hey man, thanks Corey. I don't know that guy, but he just dropped
Yeah, that's the way of the world, of
$100
course.
and I needed that 100. Thank you so much. If you lost your wallet, like, the chances of you getting your wallet back is small because it's money, and that money helps people do things. And we just have to realize that, right? Because money and people are so predictable, when you get on these charts and you actually have things that you can see or that you've designed for yourself to understand, hey, I'm in an important zone. These are the things that I usually see in those zones before I take certain type of trades. Big game changer. So with leverage, it slows you down. People think it speeds you up, but it actually slows you down because you care about it. If you have a $500,000 account and you didn't have to put a $500,000 in, you just had to pass an audition. Wait a minute. And passing the audition gives you confidence, and it gives you training. It forces you to use risk management. So when you do get the live account, it increases your chances of success. And you're telling me I can take the 90, I get 90% and I only have to share 10, and it's not even
It
my
almost,
money. That's like
that's
having a
right.
credit card. And they
Yeah.
say, hey, you could, it doesn't. It blows my mind. I'm like, yo, everybody should be doing this because $500 in any household can save a marriage. It can save mortgages. It can do big things for you. People work years and years just to get 10% raises, and you have a way that you can do that on your own every month with a little bit of focus and intentionality, setting some alerts and understanding how to read a chart. Wait a minute, come on. And then when you learn how to read a chart, just imagine the conversations you get to have with your 401k people, the people that are, when you're doing, what are you doing? Infinite banking with life insurance. You can call them and have in-depth conversations about what you see. Hey, you guys are investing my money and I see something I don't like. Can you explain something to me? You're paying them. You have the right to ask those questions, but they don't want you to ask those questions because you don't know. It's so many benefits that you get from just understanding trading, period. But the prop firm is just like a slap in the face. It's like, hey,
It's
we
the
got you
hack
on the
to
leverage.
wealth. Yeah. It's the
Big
hack.
hack. Yeah, it
Sure.
is.
Awesome. So when you take on a new student, with the prop firm? I know you've sent many students to Surge, but uh, you teach prop at this point.
Yes, it is many avenues and many, it depends on the person. Some people they don't have the leverage to do the prop firm. So we have to fix the budget, and then we have to, give them a chance to practice. So it is other things that you can use to get into that live market and kind of get your feet wet a little bit where you're not hurting yourself. But my main play is the prop firm. I don't believe like I should be the person making all the money. Oh my God, Ray Bans, he has the $500,000 funded account. He's pulling all these profits. He's buying all these homes, which is a gem, by the way. If you're in trading, you should be in real estate. If you're in anything entrepreneur, you should be in real estate because it offsets your income. If you don't, the IRS is coming for 40%. Just leave that right there. But
Benefits are great.
yeah,
Sure.
it's insane. But like the prop firm, like I don't want to be the only person tapping into this, and my community is just like, oh my God, because people do that. They follow you because you're good at something. I want to be the person that say, hey, I have 100 funded traders. Right now we just started doing this a few months ago because I finally found a company I can trust, which is you guys. There's so many companies that do prop firms and they kind of are iffy. You guys pay out. I was doing, research, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to take faith on this. But what really got me is when I had my first trader who got with you guys. He paid his money. He went for the 100K account, passed his 100K account, and then made 20% on his 100K account and pulled his first withdrawal. And if you guys would have heard the conversation that we had on the phone where he was like, yo, I just paid off the rest of my student loans and I got 2,000 in my savings. I've never had that. Then the next month he did it again. Hey, Ray, I got 6,000 in my savings. I'm doing this. Now he's in my community calling trades like me. I'm like, hey man, I like that. Hold up. Just imagine how powerful it is. So the goal is 100 funded traders. But yeah, man, like I believe I'm as powerful as my weakest trader. So that's why I use the prop firm, because I know it can help people get leverage that they really don't have. Yeah.
Awesome. It's always, there, like you said, there's a lot of prop firms out there. I believe we have the best rules, because there are some that have very, and then they're surprised and they don't pay out. So there are some, games that are going on in the prop industry, which kind of tarnishes the name for everybody. But we try to really stay transparent, really try to stay loyal to the customers, and make sure everybody is on it. Thank you for acknowledging that. And again, thank you for joining teams with us and spreading the good word. So let's say you have somebody, you bring them into the school, they're brand new. Give me a little overview of kind of what the program looks like from a high level overview, and then we'll jump into some more specifics when we get on the charts in a few minutes.
Sure. So when they come into my program, it's like an archive. My number one thing is making sure the budget is good. I can't help you if you don't know where your money is going. You actually be surprised how many people eat their budget. Chips and drinks.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. It's easy.
It's insane.
It's a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. Before you know it, you're waiting for your next paycheck. Yeah,
but because some people are not as open to sharing their budget, and I'm just trying to be transparent here because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. They don't open up, and then they kind of just linger a little bit, and they either drop off or they come into the program a little later when they could have already had a little bit of results. But people come into the program, you have to open up about your budget, and be transparent, and we can fix that once we find what your threshold is.
When you say budget, when you say budget, you mean like what they have to invest?
No. Like, I'm not even worried about that, right? I want to know what's coming in and what's going out.
Oh, what their monthly expenses look like.
Yes, I want to know. Like, everybody in my program, look, I'm so serious about this. I don't even want my program to grow too fast because I wouldn't have the time to help them do this. I do have ways where I get on with everybody. I'm like, all right, guys, we're going to do the budget today. I want you to write down all your expenses. I want you to write down your necessities, your non-negotiables, the things that you have that this is just to entertain me.
Right.
This is for something for me to do. After we break that down, we'll get the number of expenses and then how much money do you have coming in. I'm not talking about that bonus that you get when you do well at your sales job. I'm talking about that base income that's going to come in if you don't make a sale. I need to know that.
Because a lot of people hate this part because it makes them look in the mirror and they have to face themselves. And this is where it becomes challenging. I would imagine you have a lot of people. It's difficult to get people over this hump.
Yeah. Well, when you have the type of transparency that I have, the unique thing about me is I didn't have anybody in my life that said, "Hey, Ray, we had you on a couple life insurance policies and some annuities, and you got 5 million in the bank to start with." I didn't have that.
Right, of course.
I was the college kid that was homeless for a little bit. Not a lot. I'm not a sob story. I wasn't managing my budget right, and I ended up in some situations where I was like, "Hey, this is rock bottom, and this sucks. I don't want to be here anymore." So,
Sure.
I learned through that. So now I do understand how to talk to people in a way where it's like, "Hey, man, I feel, felt, found. I've been there. This is what I've found, and this is what I've learned. This is how you can get through it too." So it's a little easier for me to get people over that hump. It's just getting them to the point of like tapping in, because my program is set up to where it's an archive. So I have pre-recorded videos, and then I go live. I have moderators that are trusted, who have proven themselves in trading, that can hold these sessions for me if I need to travel or I need to do other things. And then I make sure that I'm live at least 2 times a week to be able to talk to people, teach people, "Hey, let's focus on this. I realize that you guys are losing a lot of trades because you're trading in consolidation, and you don't have confirmations or of a tendency of a trend, but you think it's trending. Let's focus on this." And I only teach one way. I don't have this strategy, this strategy, this strategy. My entire chat, if you look at the way we mark our charts, it's exactly the same, because it is power in the multitude of many. So if you have a lot of people who are focusing on reading the charts the same way, even though we see differently, it can refine itself. And it's like a live journal, like a live case study of different people who see different things, who are in different parts of the world, seeing different setups. And that's where the power comes in. That's why people can be a part of this program and actually see results. So once we get over that budget, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just tap in, for a couple of hours a week, and then from there we can figure out if you're going to be ready to start the prop firm, which I do hold
Got it.
people off, because I have a large following. So if I say, "Hey, get a prop firm," it would be floodgates. So it's like, nah, let me slow down
Of
and do
course.
it
I
the
mean,
right
it's
way.
it's
You
it's
know.
not it's not it's a great. It's not for
hmm
everybody right out of the gate, though. So, they need to have a certain understanding of what's a pip, how's it work. You can't just jump in and expect to make money. There are
Facts.
challenges. So having that good
hmm
foundation, having the understanding of the charts. So let's jump in a little further. Go to the archives. They're in the live session. Give me the basics, kind of a high level, the Ray-Ban strategy. What are we looking at? Is it a momentum play, a reversal play?
This is the best question I've ever been asked, Corey. Um, we use so to help y'all understand. Let's think about candlesticks first, okay? You have
hmm
a Japanese candlestick that is just
And
going to
and
give
feel
you
free to
raw
pull up a
price.
chart or a trading view if
Sure,
that's going to help you explain it better.
sure. Let me see. Oh, I can content share. All right, let's get into this class. This is going to be fun. Let me see. Will it let me pick which screen I want to share? Yes, it
Sure
will.
will. Yep.
Entire screen. Oh yeah, this is just like a program that I use. Can you guys let me know when you can see my screen?
It's coming up now. Takes a second to load.
Okay, no problem. Can you
Perfect.
see it?
Yep.
All right, we can pick anything. We can definitely pick anything. Let's just remove all drawings. Okay, so first thing I want you to think about is your candlesticks. So normally this is what you would see when you get on a chart. And my candlesticks are going to look a little bit differently. This is how insane committed I am. I know how to design my own indicators. So,
hmm hmm
it's certain things that I look for. It took me forever to learn, but a lot of books being read and some friends that helped me out too. But this is what your chart would naturally look like is candlestick patterns. Matter of fact, let's take off this, and then let's see. Let's go to our Hakanashi. All right. So with our Hakanashi candles, the difference between those two type of candles is the regular candlesticks paint price. Hakanashi, some people say it paints direction. That's not what it does. It paints an average. So let me give you an example. You see the EMA lines that we have on our charts right here.
Yep.
These EMA lines are just telling us a frequency. I'm not thinking, oh, this is an EMA. Look for the EMA cross. No, 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 no. Price always has to come back to a stable frequency. If price is not doing this, if it's not going sideways, look, If it's not in an area like this where it's bouncing between two obvious points where it's interested in breaking or staying between, it is now distributing. So just keep that in mind, right? Which means you have to see something like this before you see something like this. If you don't see the accumulation, you are not going to get distribution. Since we understand that, all we need to do is be able to find what frequency, EMA, the market is moving at. The reason why, before we even put up an EMA on our chart, we can find an average of movement with the Hakanashi candles with something called a level line break. So what I'm looking for is structure. We cannot abandon the fact that market structure is real, market geometry is real, whatever you want to call
Sure.
it, right? So if I find my areas where price is doing what I want and I know that it's accumulating, it's small things that you can know just over time with experience where you say, hey, volume is dying out, it's squeezing, so many theories that you can find. But to keep it simple, sideways, it breaks, and you're going to have either a pattern above this or you'll have an actual confirm. What do you mean, Ray? I mean, when that price area is broken, that's the first sign. People like to take the trade there. That's up to you if you want to take that. I personally know, I've back tested this so many times. You are going to get a surge, and you have to understand the time frames too. But you'll have a surge to a new magnet area, which some people call supply and demand, or it's another word for it, support and resistance. Or before that executes, you'll have a retest of this area it broke to confirm, which is really good because that's what traders are looking for, is confirmations. Or you'll have a pattern, and then it'll stay on this strong path. So before we put anything on the chart to help indicate what we see in these frequencies, understanding the basis of just price action is important. And then we're looking for something called a level line break. Now, this is something people don't teach because, it was designed by me. So if I see people teaching this, I know that they got it from me. A level line break is important because a Hakanashi candle paints average. Think of that. What does an EMA do, Corey? It paints average. But the
Frequency.
problem with an EMA is frequency. You don't know when that EMA cross is a true EMA cross because you can't see when the average changes. That by the time you see it, the move has happened. So how do you know when to enter these? Hey, I see what frequency it's on. I see it's respecting this EMA, but how do I know to take that trade? Well, look at this, right? We have a break here, and then it comes down into our frequency. A big thing is when price breaks, it likes to come back to a 21. You have a 50, a 21, a 14, and an 8. Our weakest frequency is going to be our 8, but a confirmation on the 8 after structure is very strong. You can see something right here where it likes to move, right? So our level line break is this. I'm going to get a line. It's when the average goes from whatever direction it was going at first, and then it closes above that last candle. Okay. So for instance, do you see how, let me give you an example. Let's go over here. You see how this right here ultimately had a move, and then this particular candle closed below the positive average, and now we have a negative average. That's why this candle turned this color, and then you had a move like this. Now, of course, depending on your account, a move like this can be money. But we don't look for moves like this. I want long-term moves. I want to be on the side of average. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the strength of a move. I'm looking for average. If I see that look at the frequencies. If I see that my frequencies are being respected, and I see that I have level line breaks, also known as pockets, it'll look like, I know you've heard this before where they say the market moves in waves, right? So, people, they don't really pay attention to this because they're like, well, it's not that simple, but it really is. If you look at it, it's always a wave. What that means is the market never stops. That's what that means. I think, let me hit Control Z. I think I deleted my indicator. There we go. So if we understand that we have pockets, the goal is hey, every time I see a pocket, I have an entry opportunity, but am I entering with the average, the winning average of people who are winning? So just taking that simple concept and putting some price structure to it, it becomes almost insanely easy to find the pockets and say, hey, do I have a respect? Do I have my confirmation of the market accumulating, breaking that area, giving me a shape or a retest, and then taking the trade off of that? And that's why I have traders who pass the challenges. I think I have like 6 more traders who are close to passing the funded account. Understanding that is just, it's really just being on the charts and learning how to mark your lines and your like in your support and resistance and finding where you want to be. But it's literally that simple. I don't focus on extra charts. I don't focus on watching the news. It's like I know what days to stay away from, like the first of every month.
Hmm.
Like this
Hmm.
Friday, you won't see me put a trade in today. It's the first Friday of the month. I know that big news comes out today. I'm not trying to do that type of trading. I'm not
Right.
trying to catch quick profits. I want to hop in when the market is nice and slow and it's setting up and I
Sure.
can sit there and enter. Now, here's the bread and butter to everything. And I don't mind because I know some people might be looking at this and they might say, "Oh, I can get everything right now." It's the time frame. So let's just break
Hmm.
down the time frame. Time frames mean higher average. Everything is an average. So if I know that I have an idea from a higher time frame, a zone from a higher time frame, this is what people call support and resistance magnet areas.
Sure.
When I have that, all I'm looking for after that is the space between the real moves. Do you see how we have a pocket here, strong move, pocket here, strong move, pocket here? See how I played a little bit? This is a great opportunity. So when you're on that lower time frame where we saw this shape, and then you go to the higher time frame, you're like, well, first of all, my highest frequency is respected. Second of all, look at the distance between the next magnet zone. When I drop down to that lower time frame, it just makes more sense. Hey, okay, it
So would
broke
you go from you went from I can't see the
a
numbers too
four. It's a
clearly.
four.
A
So
four
look,
to a
it's
one.
it's a 4 to a 1, but don't get caught up on the hour. Don't like as long as you're coming from a higher time frame. If I was looking at a 15-minute chart and I wanted to go all the way down to a 15-second chart, it all
The
applies.
principle still
The
applies.
principle applies. Higher time frame holds higher average. So when you take a higher time frame magnet zone and then you go to a lower time frame to find a shape or to find the confirmation of a frequency, it is much more likely for you to be right. Now, that comes along with understanding very basic price action rules. The simple understanding of accumulation and distribution. So what I teach people is, hey, if you're trying to take this is beautiful. If you're trying to take a trend trade, if you don't see your accumulation, why are you looking for a trend trade? You don't even have the tendency, the qualification to even say, hey, I'm in the inside of a trend or preparing for a trend. So if you don't see that, you need to be looking for what? It's a word I'm looking for, a sideways trade. You need to be looking for that. So for instance, it's tendencies, it gets deep, but it's tendencies that you can read to know where you are in the market.
Hmm.
You can have, if you have a trend and you see that you have your highs and your lows, that like reading that is easy. But what happens when it's changing and you don't know? What are you looking for? Well, the tendency for a trend changing is when you have an equal high and an equal low and then it breaks. So you notice how this is trending, right? Right here, this is where people can get psyched out because they'll see these waves and they start looking at Elliott wave theory and all these things. But in reality, the low was here. You see how it's high,
Right.
low, high. This low didn't break this low. That's why the trend is still
Hmm.
going. But then look what happens. Look at this right here. Look what happens when it hits this area and it didn't make a new high. Uh-oh, tendency number one, I did not have a new high. Now I need to see tendency number two. I need to see that low broken. Look what happens when the low was broken. Boom, it comes all the way back to the 50. That's called market sentiment, by the way. So now this
Sure.
area right here is super important. It's super important because this is the first area after this long move where it was broken and it actually confirmed. So now on this lower time frame, before I even go back up to my higher time frame, I know that this area is important. Now watch this. It goes sideways, it hits this area, it forces back down. Do you see how it makes structure here and it breaks? Here
Hmm.
goes the simple price action rules that you have to know. When it breaks, you have to see a shape or you have to see a retest before you take a trade. So when right here, when it breaks and it gives you this entry and it's like, hey, it's above, look, it's above this. Okay. It just gave me an entry pattern for a buy. I'm on my 1 hour. If I click up to my 4 hour, we can see how this timing would be bad, but we don't even have to do that. I could tell you why. If we enter right here and I enter the market for a trade, I don't just walk away. And this is what people don't have, and this is why they probably don't do well at trading. They'll put a stop loss and just won't look at it. If I enter, I'm on the chart. If I'm not going to be on the chart, I have notifications here. I have this area marked and I know, hey, I just entered on an hour chart. I know what the market moves like. If I enter in a good area, a few hours later, I'm going to have a nice move and it'll make me feel more confident about my trade. Everything is time. So if I look up in 3 hours and I see this, and I see that this high wasn't broken, I'm closing my trade. I'm not even waiting.
Right.
My stop
Right.
loss can be down here. The stop loss is just to protect me from some flash something and it just wants to shoot down super fast, something I can't control. That's what my stop loss is for. It's not to just let my account melt and then I'm sitting there. I hope the gods of trading push this trade back up, and you sitting there sweating. No, that's too much. Ultimately, if you would have held that, if your stop loss was this low, you probably would have caught a win. But who wants to win like that? That's called
Yeah.
unconfident
Right.
trading.
That,
Like
of
nobody
course,
wants to do that.
that's not part of anybody's trading plan. Because right now,
Yeah.
it's pure chance.
Yeah, it's pure chance. So in what you're doing is like it's not a guess. I hear some people say guessing. We're just using probabilities right now. If I saw that this area was broken and I didn't go to a higher time frame to confirm what I saw or whatever, hey, and I took this trade and it didn't go the right way. Tell you what, I know that this is an important zone because I caught a trade over here the first time. So if I have an anomaly, right, a trap where it doesn't break this high and I see that I have a signal against that, I'm closing and I'm looking for the opposite direction, right? And that's typically how I do it. So can I be
Got it.
transparent? I'm actually in a funded challenge right now. Can I show something really quick? Is
Sure.
that
Yeah,
fine?
of course.
So
Absolutely.
look, right here, I'm gonna pull up the account that I'm doing with you guys, and this is another challenge that I found. Right, when I first started this challenge, I'm pretty sure you guys can see. I also didn't know that they do the commissions. I thought that I was doing a spread, so I was learning with that. But when I first started, look how terrible I started. I put a trade in. It was actually a profitable trade, and I fell asleep and forgot to set my timer to wake up. And I woke up the next morning to some craziness. I said, you know what? I have experience. I took a couple of scalp trades, wasn't going my way. I said, you know what? Since I'm going to actively be on the chart, I'm going to use high leverage, right? So I went over here, and this is something that I was showing my community too. I went over here and I started scalping at high numbers, and I told them, I said, hey, making money like that is super fast. I said, but man, it's super stressful. And even though I can
Sure.
do it, I don't like it. So I was going through trading and I didn't realize I didn't have my commission tab up. I didn't know that my break even was 84. So I would see a move. I was scalping 1 minute to 5 minutes. And as soon as I see something I didn't like, I'll get out the trade. And I'm thinking, hey, I'm up. I was at a point to where I was 3,000 negative in commissions. And hold on, I have a smart home and somebody has left my refrigerator open. Give me a second. All right. So I was at a point to where I was negative 3,000 with commissions and I was profit 1,500. So I messaged the support at SurgeTrader. I'm like, hey man, this is broken. Like, what's going on? And the guy was like, hey man, like this doesn't mess up. Like you don't have your commission tabbed. So I said, okay. But then I started to change my approach. I said, you know what, Ray? I am a high frequency trader, very fast volume. Let me slow down. I know how to read these markets. I'm going to slow down and I'm going to take my time to build these cases against the market and trade. And that's when it started to change. So we turned our trading around, right? Now we are a little bit in profit. This is a $500,000 account, but the type of trades that I'm taking, like look at the difference between the risk management. You see how aggressive this is over here and how fast it went negative. This is the beautiful part when you get a transparent leader that'll show you stuff like this. And then when you go down here and you use risk management, just look how much more smooth. Look at the average,
Right.
4 to 500. This was a great day right here, And it's like I'm only finding one trade a week, and this is the bread and the butter right here. I'm opening a barbershop and a lounge right now. I have a real estate play with 28 different units that I'm interested in right now. And I still have to travel and teach people. I still have to educate online. So it's not like, oh, this is a business owner and he has all this free time. That is not the case. I have just as much responsibility as the person who has 3 kids, 2 jobs. The dog has a job. The fish has a part-time job. Like I have just as much responsibility as that. So now I have to ration my time to find the charts that I want to look at, right? So if we go back to Trading View, look at that guy, man, awesome. Right? So we have to go back to Trading View and I have to go find my cases. So what I'll do is I'll have a watch list, and you see how it's not everything, it's a few trades, and I'll say red, this could be potential sales, blue, these could be potential buys, and then we'll mark our ideas. Notice I didn't take this one. I said, hey, that didn't play out. I didn't even get the confirmation of this, and it went ahead down to what we thought, which was our sideways market. I have traders in my community who caught these trades simply because we marked the charts together. I don't call signals, I call market suggestions. It's like, hey guys, I'm gonna mark the chart for you, but because because you've been studying, I want you to find your entry and I want you to
Hmm.
post how you put the case together. And it forces people to get results. I had somebody catch this too. Look how
Right.
beautiful that is.
Yep.
Delicious. So that's the thing. I have to find my time and then manage my trades with my alerts and stuff like that. And the nuance of that and the success of that comes from being a part of a community that's just that's practicing. Hey, we meet up every week, we do our markups, and then outside of that, it's up to you if you want to go mark your own charts and get an understanding outside of what we're doing. And if you do that, now you're adding value to the community for the next person that's coming on, and it'll just turn into this massive, just a whole bunch of dogs on the chart, and we doing our thing,
Yeah.
and we building our
Absolutely.
life. So hopefully that insight to this trading account, because I just started this challenge too. Even though I have the funds, I can go put $150,000 in an account. I have a forex.com account that just has like 20K sitting in it. I haven't touched it since because I said, hey, I want to pass this. I did this on high frequency. People watch me make hundreds of thousands of dollars on YouTube and in different communities and Discord, and that built a community for me. I've proven myself already. I have nothing to
Hmm.
prove. Let me just walk out this journey, complete this with the stresses that everybody else has from their day-to-day life. And if I do that, it is no excuse for anybody at all. They
Right.
can look at my journey and say, hey, this person didn't have all the time in the world and he still did it. I can do it too. So
Absolutely.
that's what SurgeTrader has given me, man. I'm so
Awesome.
grateful for this challenge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Before we jump off too far outside of the trading, share with me a little bit about one, your risk management, and two, like your journaling. I know you mentioned journaling. Where does that come in, and describe that to me?
Got you. So let's pull something up really quick. Is it okay if I pull up my community?
Yeah, certainly.
All right. Every time I start to teach, you know how I don't know what it is. All right, let's see. Let's
Same
go
same here.
here. Every single time. Actually, I think I could pull it up. Let me show you. All right, this is the community here. Let me see if that pops up. I'm not worried about people seeing this, by the way. All right, so we log into this community videos and stuff, but my journaling actually comes on my community section where I have people at.
Oh, you do the journaling in the in actual community. You don't keep an external journal.
I used to, but one second. All right, that's better. I used to keep my journaling separately, and I still do. I have private journals where I
Hmm.
have like my notes and things that I'm designing. I would love to show you guys that, but that's new videos that I'm designing, and it would be unfair to my community to kind of like just
Sure, of
blast it
course.
right here. So
No, no problem.
I have to find a creative way where I can show you guys like what's going on. So for instance, we'll get into our market watch section, and what we'll do is we'll mark our charts and just kind of put our ideas, and then from there, you see what I'm saying? We'll tell people like what we saw and what's happening. So this is a big part. It's like a community journal. I also have like a team reflection journal here where I'll let people talk about like, hey, look, my understanding of losing trades, like marking their charts, but you can kind of see the consistency in the charts.
Hmm.
We're not all over the place. We mark what we see, and we go from there. So somebody going crazy right here. Okay, Zaka, I see you, baby. So this is where I like to put a lot of information because it gives people like insights to what's going on. But you said the risk management. I, I can't wait to share this. Give me a second, because I have a whole document that was made.
To me, the risk management, and I've been in trading for coming up on 16, 17 years now,
Yeah.
and this is probably what I found over the years, the linchpin for most people who are successful or not. I've had
Oh
people
yeah.
who are great traders, but their risk management is poor, and they just can't get it together. So
Yeah.
this is really where good traders turn great.
Yes, sir. Well, you gonna like this, Corey. You're gonna like this. This right here, I actually learned from a mentor in the community I was a part of, and I always kept it. It pretty much helps you calculate your pips and what lot size you can put in if you went for 1% of your account. So if I had a $500,000 account, I can put a 25 lot for a 20 pip move, and this is
Hmm.
assuming a
Hmm.
1-to-1. So let's say I see a 80 pip move, right? Well, the max I have here is 40. So all I would do is just divide whatever my lot size is here by 2. And then I'll get that. So if we have our, let's just say 12.5, that means it'll be 625 that I can put in for an 80-point move. But then let's say I want to break that down into 3 entries. I would then take that 625 and then divide that by 3 and then enter. So if we go back to my account, you'll actually see where if I want to take an extra entry, that's what I'll do. So like right here.
So you kind of know before you even get to the charts what you
Oh,
have
oh,
to allocate.
yeah, absolutely. Like that document does everything, you know. So you see this 228 right here. I already had entries, and I'm like, all right, I don't care about trying to get too many entries. I just want to make sure I'm not going above my 1%. If I go past my 1%, I know that my threshold for my week is 3. I don't want to have 3 entries for 3%. I would much rather have 16 entries for 3%. Like I'll rather
Right.
diversify my entries so I can protect my mental. It's actually
Right.
not even about the loss. It's just the mental. I just want to be able to see something and make a decision versus, oh, I got 5% of my account on the line and I'm down 17K. How do you not hold that trade? It's,
Right, of
you know,
course.
like seriously. So it's like if you don't do the risk management part, you're just prolonging how long it's going to take you to actually understand how fun and simple trading is, especially when you start getting on these hot streaks. I tell my community all the time, you might break even for 6 months and have 2 months of just destroying the markets. And that's where you make your money for the year. The only reason you
Right.
can't see that is because you're trading a $500 account. What if it was a 500,000? Those same trades you just hit, them same 10 trades you just hit in a row could have been worth $50,000. But because you only have a $500 account, you made 50 bucks, you
Right.
know?
Yeah,
So, and,
absolutely.
and that's,
I mean,
that's the, that's
it's a
helping
game
people
changer.
understand. Yeah. Big time.
Awesome. So you when and going back to your risk program, are you typically looking for 1-to-1, 2-to-1? What kind of R's are you looking at?
My risk to reward ratios, I don't like to like lock myself into anything. Of course, I want the trade to be worth it, but because I watch my trades the way I do, I'm always 1-to-1 is fine for me. That's totally fine, you know. But
Got it.
what I could tell you this though, I think some people they be trying to get the best bang for their dollar, so they'll do something like this. And let's just say that this red box was a stop loss, and let's say that we seen the entry here, right?
Hmm.
So we take a trade here, and you have people who will stay on the same time frame, and they'll place their stop loss like right below the wicks, and then you see the stop loss hunt, and then it goes.
Yep.
That's what
Hmm.
happens to a lot of people. I don't like being cheap. This is my thought process. If you're gonna beat me, Mr. Whale or whoever's hopping in these markets and eating up these stop losses, Mr. Bank, you're gonna have to beat me. You're
Okay.
gonna have to come get me. I don't want my stop loss to be the
Uh-huh.
reason why I lose a trade. You're gonna have to beat everybody on this chart, not just me. And when I think like that, it doesn't have to be this exaggerated, but I do come from higher time frames. So because I can see strong moves like this, I know that the higher time frame, this is where this wick will be, right? Because a higher time frame wick is lower time frame
Right, of
structure.
course.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's a gem, by the way.
That
So,
is a gem.
so this right here is where I would probably place a stop loss, but I'm watching here. I just don't want it to be anywhere in here. I'm watching here because if I'm watching a candle and I see this happening, I don't just see this and I'm like, oh my God, close, close, close. No, look at the normal candles. You see how they look? This is not normal. So either it's going to melt for real and I can close when it closes. The most important thing on this chart is your close. You have to know where price closed at because now people are making decisions after that close. So if I see something like this, I know the structure that I see. I see something like this, and then after that it dies out and it starts to turn again. That lets me know, hey, all the people right here just got took out. If I get another entry signal right here where I initially took it, this is a respect. That's another entry for me. And then it pays off because I'm paying attention. If it does melt, okay, no problem. My risk management wasn't that bad. I lost $300. Who cares? Right? It's okay. That's compared to a $500,000 account. That's literally nothing. So, and what'll happen is you'll just have lost 300, lost 300, lost 300, $2,000 win, lost 300, lost 300, $2,000 win. And then over time you look up and you just so far ahead in profit. Now your funded account is protected. You're not worried about losing a funded account and you have this pool of money that you can pull from for the rest of your life if you do it right, do some cool things. So that's how I look at it. I don't let the risk to reward ratios like psych me out or focus on those too much. As long as it's a 1-to-1 and I have enough room to move my stop loss and it's not something crazy or my idea is not far fetched, I'll enter the trade as soon as I see my pocket confirm it with my frequencies. That's it.
Got it. Got it. So
Yeah.
you're going to rely more on price action as opposed to a strict rule of risk and reward.
Yeah. Strict rules make you broke.
I like
Strict.
that. Well, you got all the gems, right?
Yeah, man. Strict rules make you broke. Right now, and that
You
just
should
comes
do
from me
like
learning.
a
Yeah.
you should do like a page on there.
Ray quotes. That would be fun, man. That would be fun.
Break
Quotes. We're gonna chop this video up and I'll send you all the good ones that
pull
pull
out,
out.
and you can throw them on your page too.
Man, I really appreciate that. We got a lot of recording to do. This industry is ever evolving, and it's fascinating. You know, if it stayed the same, and this is for the new traders. Let me throw this in there. For the new people that are getting involved, or even experienced traders who might not have had the best results so far, it is no such thing as one way to trading. My way
Of
is not the
course.
best way,
Absolutely.
and I might not be the best person to teach you, and I understand that. But if when you do find somebody that you like and you find somebody that teaches well and they have the fruit on the tree, they're transparent enough to open up a trading account and show you those losses. They're transparent enough to let you know, hey, this is how I started. I did have an advantage or I didn't. When you have people who will open that up to you and they teach well, you lock onto that and do not modify or deviate from what they teach until you understand what they teach, because you need to know when you're deviating. You need to know when you're adding something that wasn't there from the get-go. And when you
Right.
get to that
Absolutely.
point of understanding, that's when trading will turn around from you. That's when you get on the prop firms and you pay to do your audition and you pass it and you start to change your life, because you understand that it's not one way, right? And we just want to be dynamic thinkers. And that's what I teach, just being able to make decisions. So this is not a strategy. What I showed you guys today is a mindset. And that mindset can change with the markets. I'm not trying to teach you the strategy. I want you to be able to think and also know how to think about what you think. It's very important. It gets deep. So
It
that's my
is. It is.
advice.
Well, Ray, thank you so much. I know we really appreciate you donating your time to us today and all of your insights on the charts. We definitely want to have you back, and I hope your week goes really well. Great weekend, and all the best in trading. But again, heartfelt thank you for coming on and sharing with us, and all the best wishes to you and your community.
Man, I really appreciate that. And I want to thank you guys too for the opportunity for me to be able to even offer this to people who trust me enough to take my programs and to offer it to me too, because it affects me and my family and the things that I want to do. You know, you guys are helping people with generational wealth, and that's always, forever in my good graces, because that's something that I really want. So
Awesome.
thank you. Yes,
Awesome. Well,
sir.
thank you. Have a great one.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Ray. Bye-bye.
Nice.